Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Make room for a brand new year and a brand new room. Cozy up with HomeDepot.com for up to 30% off select mattresses and mattress essentials. From pillow top to plush, medium firm to memory foam. Waking up to a wonderful new mattress is the perfect way to make your new bed and your new year. Up to 30% off select mattresses and mattress essentials from HomeDepot.com. How doers get more done. Online only, free delivery on select items $45 or more. Visit HomeDepot.com for more information.
Christopher Media, let's make some noise. Welcome to Beer Nuts, a weekly excursion into the world of craft beer. Brought to you by MichiganBeerGuide.com. And now, here are the Beer Nuts.
Okay, welcome to Beer Nuts, episode 135. Today's episode is going to be cherries and berries. It's that time of the year with springtime, and the fruit beers are nice and thirst-quenching once the weather starts to warm up. So we're going to do a bunch of beers and end with a mead, a berry-flavored mead. So I'm JR, hosting you tonight. Happy birthday to Chris. He's celebrating his birthday tonight. He probably doesn't want you to know it's the big 4-0, but it is. So happy birthday, Chris, and enjoy your evening. So he passed tonight, but we do have 5 beer nuts here, so we'll introduce everybody. I'm JR. I'm in Sierra Vista, Arizona, in the Southwest, and my last untapped check-in was Christmas pancakes from Hardywood Park Craft Brewery. It's an imperial milk stout with gingerbread and maple, and it was absolutely delicious. I don't know why I only gave it a 4 1/4. It should have been a 4 1/2. So we're going to go, let's go to the Midwest to Lieutenant Dan. Welcome back, Dan.
In Missouri, and my last untapped check-in was on Saturday, 420. I had the Apropos 420 strain G13 IPA from Sweetwater Brewing Company. Pretty solid little IPA.
Sounds dank. All right, going back to Michigan. Welcome back, Uncle Pete. So glad to have you back.
Hey, everybody. Good to be here. Uncle Pete. Let me just pop that open real quick. My last untapped check-in here in Rockwood, Michigan was Vault of Heaven, New England IPA style from Batch Brewing here in the Motor City. Yeah, it's all good, man. Love the beers.
Moving just a little bit to the north to Greg in Dearborn.
Yes, sir. Hey, good evening, everybody. Greg in Dearborn, Michigan here, and my last untapped check-in was Cigar City's High Lie, which I had at a local restaurant here, Elmhurst Tap Room. Went great with a burger.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, we got Steve out in L.A.
Hey, everybody. How's everyone doing today? My last check-in was from Anderson Valley Brewing Company out in Boonville, California. I had the Summer Solstice. It was a nice spiced herb beer. It was very, very creamy. Had a little creamy taste. Copper in color. It was very tasty, very good. I really liked it.
Awesome. All those sound awesome. So we're going to get into some fruity beers, specifically cherries and berries, the theme of tonight's episode. So we'd like to invite all of our listeners to crack open a cold one. Whether you have a cherry or a berry beer or an IPA, a stout, whatever you enjoy, or even a nice classic Pilsner. We're not pretentious. Drink what you like what you drink. And again, the motto and the theme of our show is to introduce more good people to more good beer. So cheers, everyone. The once dormant quote of the week is now back because we've received a resurgence. Whenever we see a quote that we haven't used, we bring it back. So we do have one for tonight. It's a brief one, simple one, and it simply reads like this. If you don't drink, how will your friends know you love them at 2 a.m.? So some of us, maybe in our younger days, we're out at the bars till those wee hours. Now that I'm a little older, that doesn't happen too often, but I can't remember.
I don't remember.
I love you.
Nothing good happens after midnight, right? All right, well, let's get into some beers because everybody's thirsty. Now, I am Cherries and Berries. Now, I got a berry that I don't think anybody would expect to be on the show. It's the Snozberry Berliner from Tombstone Brewing Company out here in Tombstone, Arizona. I'm going to do something I don't normally do. I'm going to actually read the can before I taste it so people don't cringe when they hear the Snozberry name. So here's the description. So we're going to go a little backwards. For this beer, we intended to take our refreshingly tart classic Berliner Weiss and add the freshest locally sourced Snozberries we could find. Unfortunately, the Snozberry harvest must have been especially bad this year, as each orchard we called looking for fruit simply laughed at us. We decided instead to replicate the flavor of Snozberry using an abundance of cranberry, strawberry, and blackcurrant. The result was a crisp, dry, and intensely fruit sour wheat ale. All right, so I'm going to go open this up. There we go. Oh, I'm pouring this, and I can love that color already. Kind of like a ruby red with a little purple tint to it, and the head on this is lively, about a 2-finger head that's settling slowly but surely, and it's definitely pink. So you got a ruby red / purple with a pink head on it. So it certainly looks like something I'm going to enjoy drinking. So can't really see through this holding it up to the light, so it's not really murky. It's just a nice solid color. Like nice lot of fruit probably in this. So on the aroma, definitely getting fruit, cranberry, strawberry definitely. So I'm kind of cheating because I already read the can, but the strawberry I believe is outweighing all the other flavors. But a nice fruity flavor. Not really getting any tartness on the aroma. So let's taste this. Really nice fruit flavor here, very slightly tart. So even though it says sour, it's a Berliner, it's not overly sour. So people that might be like, oh no, I don't like sours, don't be afraid of this because it's slightly tart. I like it kind of the level of tartness of maybe a Jolly Pumpkin beer would have, that kind of like tame sour. I'm definitely getting that. The flavor is spot on from the aroma. Definitely taste the strawberries. I think I get that more than anything, but the blackcurrant and the cranberry would be the secondary fruits, but it all blends together for a very, man, this would be great on a hot day. I think this is it's a 5.0%, so 5% even ABV. This is I could crush a couple of these, no problem, and I might just have to do that.
Is it starting to get hot out there already?
Yep. I was in the car earlier and the dash said 91.
Oh, okay.
It was in the upper 80s, but maybe a little hotter on the car gauge. But it's starting. The heat's starting to kick in out here in the Southwest. No triple digits yet, but we're about 5,000 feet in Sierra Vista where I'm at. So it's not quite as warm as in Phoenix and Tucson get. But 7-8 degrees, a little cooler, but it's still hot. And I've seen a lot of sun since moving here, in stark contrast to the gray skies of Michigan, at least in the wintertime as it was. So I don't know how your weather's been lately, but very little rain and very little cloudy dark days here. So. But anyway, perfect for the climate here as it's warming up. This is a great, like I said, it's crushable. It tastes delicious. Great fruit flavor and slightly tart, not overly sour. This is something that you could pretty much introduce to anyone. And I don't think anyone would be like, oh, I don't like that. It's too sour. So really a great job by Tombstone on this one. I can't imagine anybody's had it, but of course, gotta love the name Snazberry.
Yeah, that's like Turf Snoofs or whatever that one that just came out from Ascension.
Oh, it's Full Torf.
Well, I can't say it. Yeah,
Full Torf.
Full Torf is Fruit Loop spelled backwards, and that is Fruit Loop cereal. That's from Ascension Brewing in
Novi?
Novi, Michigan. Correct, yep. Sadly, a couple thousand miles away from me now, but when I was back in Michigan, I did enjoy their releases, their can releases, which sounds like they've been doing a lot of lately. So, yeah, I give a big thumbs up for this Snozberry. Have to send you a can, Uncle Pete.
All right.
If you a box, I still got a thank you box heading your way. Just got to get it boxed up and sent out. I'll try to do that by the beginning of next week. So, and I want to also thank you, as I did on the air a couple episodes ago, for the Old Nation beers you sent me and a couple bottles of KBS. So it was just, it was almost like cathartic to get I really missed having access to those beers, and he hooked me up with, and nice to get that Woodshed one too, the Brewed IPA.
Yeah, you enjoyed them. I could see it. I'm happy to send you more when you need it.
Well, much appreciated. And before we do that, I got to reciprocate and excited to share some of these Tombstone beers with you too. So that being said, let's move on to Springfield, Missouri, with Lieutenant Dang.
All right, what I've got here tonight is from Narrow Gauge Brewing out of St. Louis, Missouri. I know it's something I've reviewed on here
Hey, Dan.
before, at least from the brewery. This is
Dan?
a new one I've never had before, but excuse me. This is a sour. Yeah.
Did you hear me?
Yep.
You were breaking up really bad, but I think you're better now, so maybe just start over so you can edit that out. Oh, did we lose him?
No, I'm here. How's that?
That's better. It sounds better. Yeah, just start over because you were really garbled.
All right. I am drinking a beer from Narrow Gauge Brewery out of St. Louis. They are typically known to pretty much build their own to this channel. And this is the first sour IPA I've had from them. It just pours. I mean, I don't even know how to describe this color. Just totally ruby. Like it's a dark ruby red. The main fruit in it is boysenberry and passion fruit. And it's just dark. It looks thick and dark. Take a little smell here. It's you don't really get a whole lot of anything crazy on the nose. I don't know if you've had passion fruit before. You either kind of like it or you don't. I'm kind of on the middle on passion fruit. I kind of don't love it, but I'm going to go ahead and give this one a sip. It's just a touch of sweet on the front, and then it finishes with that kind of that weird tang that passion fruit can have. And then it's a little sweet, a little sour, and just kind of finishes off a little bitter on the end. It's delicious. 16 ounces of it. I mean, it's not like a crushable one. It's not something you just want to chug. It's good with if you had a little food with it, a little cheese or a little something to kind of cut through some of that sour and that fruit. But the color on it, I was thinking about it. The color is kind of like a ruby blood red. It's just really dark and rich colored.
Wow.
It's dark. Let me read the description on the can here for you. It's actually brewed with lactose sugar and then aged on passion fruit, boysenberries, and vanilla beans. I don't really know that I pick up the vanilla beans. I mean, I don't know if I'm a little congested. The allergies are kind of crazy. Pollen. This is like one of the worst years in Missouri for pollen. But I don't really pick up vanilla. It seems like it might have been kind of a waste on this beer. I mean, you're talking about a sour IPA that is just bright, rich in color from the fruit in it. So maybe somebody else that's more in tune with vanilla could pick up on it than I can. But I'm missing it tonight. But definitely get the lactose. I mean, it's got a rich, thick, full mouthfeel. It takes up your full palate, and it's enjoyable for sure. If you're near St. Louis, it's a 3-hour trip for me to go to St. Louis from here. and I can't not go to Narrow Gauge. And I get lunch or dinner at Cugino's. It's a casual kind of atmosphere for an Italian restaurant. It's not upscale. And I have to get, a flight of their beers and buy a bunch of the 4-packs of cans to go. So,
Dan, let me ask you, there's lactose in this. Does that sweeten it up at all? Or is it pretty tart?
Not really. It's pretty tart, pretty sour. And I didn't even give the name of it. The name is Maria, like Mary with an A at the end of it. Maria.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit before we went on the air about, with home brewing. When you produce fruit beers, a lot of times the residual sugars in the fruit get fermented out by the yeast. And that's why a lot of these fruit beers are tart rather than sweet. And some of the ways brewers can sweeten up the beer is to add lactose, which is unfermentable sugar. And then the other ways you can do it is back sweeten it. And there are other procedures that advanced brewers can do. But
I can't imagine if they didn't have any lactose in this. This must be really a sour pucker there without that.
Well, you like all those sour puckers, don't you?
Oh, I do, yeah, for sure. Side Project and all the others I try to get my hands on. But now what you're thinking about with the sour IPA, it's kind of a hit or miss style for me until I had somebody sent me one from Hill Farmstead, a sour IPA. And it was really sweet and sour all at the same time and hoppy. It was amazing. So I'm still learning. It's kind of a newer style for me.
Yeah, the one you got there, it sounds to me, probably it's the vanilla and the lactose that really contributed to that full-bodied mouthfeel that you described. It's in there, the vanilla and the lactose, but it may not be presenting a lot of sweetness or a lot of vanilla flavor. But I think what they're doing combined is just smoothing it out and making a nice creamy mouthfeel for you.
Well, it's not cheap because it's $18.50 a 4-pack.
Yeah, a lot of beers are heading in that direction, it seems.
Well, quality over quantity, right?
Yeah, that's a good I've used that rationale many times.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing that one with us. And great to have Missouri represented again. So I guess, Pete, you said at the beginning of the show you were really thirsty, so I think it's your time.
Well, I beat everybody to the punch. I did drink a whole beer already while we were waiting, but I had my warm-up. But what I got tonight is a raspberry lime Goza. It's from Elk Brewing in Grand Rapids, Michigan. They've been around since around 2014, and this is a tart sour ale brewed with coriander and fresh fruit. Got a really bright label, bright green limes and really deep red raspberries on the label. Very inviting. I mean, it just looks like a fruity beer, and you can tell it's going to be one of those really effervescent and really juicy, fruity beers. So
you are attracted like a moth.
Yeah. Go towards the light. So they come in a 12-pack, variety pack, actually, from this brewery, Elk Brewing, these Gozas. There was a watermelon cucumber, which I thought was a really bizarre combination just from looking at the label. And when I drank it yesterday, I thought, wow, that really was a bizarre combination. But they have a blueberry cucumber, which I think is even more bizarre. I haven't had that yet. And then they have just a lime Goza. So that's the 4-pack, the raspberry lime, the lime, blueberry cucumber, and watermelon cucumber. So I think they're really reaching out and trying to do a lot of things with fruit with this style. Goza. Berliner Weiss is another beer that's popular with adding a lot of fruit flavors too, and maybe some of the guys have some Berliner Weiss tonight to share too.
The Snozberry is a Berliner.
Oh, it was a Berliner. That's right.
Yep.
Okay, so let me get into this beer. I'm going to pour it up. Oh, it looks like almost like a pink grapefruit color. Very good carbonation with a really nice, active, fizzy pink-colored head on it. And it's aromatically, I do get raspberry on the nose. Maybe that's how they come up with snozberries. I got raspberries on my nose. Yeah, if you think about some of the raspberry beers we've had, this is right up there as far as the aroma goes. I mean, it's very rich, like jam. So it has got a pretty good haze to it, but it's like a very bright pink grapefruit color. This has a bit of a sweet syrupy mouthfeel to it, but with a mildly salty finish and a bit sour. That's typical for the Goza style, brewed with coriander, and a lot of times there's salts in there, sea salt. But this one is a nice combination of lime and raspberry. Both of them come through. They're not too acidic, but they blended together real well. And at 5%, as JR mentioned with his beer, this is one of those crushers where it's very refreshing and thirst quenching. But yet I think if you like the fruit flavors, you're going to want another one just to keep that ball rolling. So, yeah, I mean, this is fun in the springtime now to break out of the heavy winter beer season and get into these light, fruity beers. I'm glad we picked this topic tonight. And well, this one's pretty good. I'm anxious to try the blueberry cucumber and the lime Goza and see how those are.
I just wanted to mention something when we were talking about Berliners. I attended a webinar about questions that are asked on the BJCP testing to become certified judge, which is a little bit beer geekish. But what I wanted to say is they actually use an example, the beer style Berliner Weiss, and true Berliner Weiss is you're not allowed to add fruit. I remember the Germans have the Reinheitsgebot and all this, but they would serve a small shot of like fruited syrup. Yeah. Usually like a raspberry syrup, I believe it is. But so the Americans have, I guess, bastardized or modified the Berliner style to, we're like, well, we have no Reinheitsgebot here.
Cut that step.
So the true Berliner Weiss would be straw in color and would be a little bit tart. It would be a little bit sour. And, they would put fruit in with a, optional
syrup.
Like an optional little shot of syrup that you do with it. I think there was more than one flavor of that syrup, too. But just wanted to bring that up. Just was weird on the topic.
JR, you bring that up, and that reminds me, Batch does exactly that, where they have a straight Berliner Weiss, and then they'll shoot a shot of syrup in there, whatever the flavor they may have at the time, and it's really good. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. So,
and that's traditional brewers or people that do it by the book would be happy to hear that. But
yeah,
there's a lot of beer styles like that American, just like IPA. IPA originally did in the UK, and it was earthy hops, and now we've taken IPAs and taken them to another level with our big, huge IBU bitter hops. But nothing wrong with that. We're just evolving things, but that's what it was born. It was born from that original Berliner, and now it's mutated to what it is today in some of the American breweries. So that's probably enough beer geekdom for the hour. So I'll turn it back to I guess Peter. Any other final comments on Pete's beer? If not, we're going to take.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it does. Sure does. I love these summer crushers. I remember, usually the fruit beers, we're like, I wasn't excited about them, but when you find a good one, they're really rewarding, and there's some great stuff out there. Some of them are more sour than others. I know that actually Dark Horse makes a pretty good raspberry ale that maybe could have been on the episode tonight. So thanks, Pete, for that. Before we go to Greg, we were going to pass it around for a little release news, kind of a hipster tipster set part of the show where we talk about any beer news in the industry that's happening or local releases. And I know Lieutenant Dang had something in the Midwest he wanted to bring up, so we'll start with him.
Yeah, Midwest Belgian Beer Fest is coming up July 27th. The dates were just announced today, and that is in St. Louis. It is put on by Perennial Brewing Company, which they're known for Abraxas and Sump and some of their other great beers they do. It's not just Belgian beers. Don't let the title throw you off. All kinds of breweries from all over the country were there. Last year I was there, and in my opinion, It's one of the best beer fests you can go to. It's not the cheapest, but it's not the most expensive either. It's kind of in the middle. It's $75, or at least that's what it's been in the past. And the beers are just outstanding, stellar quality. I mean, Side Project and Monkish and Perennial and all these other breweries will be there. And they bring, I mean, maybe they don't bring their most rarest of rarest stuff, but they bring their A game. They bring great beers. And it's not thousands and thousands of people. So it's kind of semi easy to get around. There's no crazy long lines usually for anything, unless there's just somebody that shows up with a crazy beer. But it's just a great all around event. It's full of your regular, like, kind of like good drinkers. It's not, it's nothing crazy, insane. Anyways, it's a good time. We've had a great time when we've gone up there. Usually we get an Airbnb and make a whole weekend of the event. So it's a good time, and I highly recommend it if you're close to the area at all.
Sounds like a great time.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Make room for a brand new year and a brand new room. Cozy up with HomeDepot.com for up to 30% off select mattresses and mattress essentials. From pillow top to plush, medium firm to memory foam. Waking up to a wonderful new mattress is the perfect way to make your new bed and your new year. Up to 30% off select mattresses and mattress essentials from HomeDepot.com. How doers get more done. Online only, free delivery on select items $45 or more. Visit HomeDepot.com for more information.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Well, I'm going to turn it back to the Michigan guys because I know that there's some beers that are just released or about to be released. So, Pete, Greg, anybody want to chime in? I know M43 just released their strawberry. I know they had a ticketed release, and then I have seen on social media outlets that it was received very good distribution in accounts out there, which was good.
Yeah, absolutely. I was one of the guys that went up last Saturday to pick up at Old Nation, and one ticket got you half a case of tart strawberry. And just like you, JR, I did see a lot of social media accounts, mentioning they were getting, theirs in today, and, very good distribution and good offering for everybody to come in and quickly grab it. So it's good this year. I like it, and it definitely is a very good offering from Old Nation. So I think another offering, Pete, I don't know if you want to mention it, but we got Perrin coming up here with their own release.
Next Saturday is the annual No Rules release. What is that? Vietnamese porter style.
Mm-hmm.
Just an off the hook.
Turbinado sugar.
Yeah.
Coconut.
it's just full flavored. Oh, it's
And
fantastic.
Would have been appropriate for last week for the Booze Bomb episode because, what is that? It's stuff 18%, 16 something. It's up there.
Oh yeah.
And those bombers, one bomber of those, you need some help.
Unless you're really brave, but yeah.
Well, you'll melt into your couch if you drink a whole bomber of that. And I think I had quite a bit in my cellar, and I think I liquidated some of those before I moved. Passed them on to friends and so forth. But I think I have one or two stashed in the cellar that I brought with me. So, but certainly would love to get one of this year's vintage if any of you guys come across any. I do believe I read there will be no distribution in stores, that it's all going out the day of the release at the brewery. So, but
yeah, just
I
like
got friends in low places. So sure that maybe one can make its way to Arizona. And anything else out there? I thought there was one more thing. I can't remember what it was, but maybe not.
At least mentioning, like Dan mentioned, the beer festival. We got one coming up here June 1st here in Michigan, put on by Holmes Brewing out in Ann Arbor. Nucleate Festival. We're gonna have some pretty big names come in, like Other Half, Trillium, Hoof-Hearted, Funk Factory. A lot of big names, and it should be a good time. I just got my ticket, so.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one out there to go attend. So.
Yeah, I think last year it was all sours, but maybe this year they're expanding a little bit.
Yeah, maybe there'll be something different. I got quite a few
Look
good
forward
ones.
to having you tell us all about it after you attend.
If I can remember, but I'll try.
All right. So, Steve, you have anything to add? Anything out there in the West Coast?
Actually, this Sunday, I'll be doing a beer and cheese pairing at Salador Ales in the Valley. They're teaming up with Vagabond Cheese Company, and actually the guy who used to run Vagabond is starting to work for them, so that's how I guess they're doing the first pairing there. But it's always a good time, and some cheese and beer, and they'll talk about the cheese and give you a history of the region and how it's made and the texture of it and why it tastes the way it does, and then whatever brewery they do it at, they'll talk about the beer and their taste, and then they kind of talk on how the two will pair and why they taste so well together. So it's always a good time. It's always good cheese and good beer. So I'm looking forward to it for this Sunday.
Two good pairings.
Sounds great, and we've actually discussed off the air having that be an episode topic: beer and cheese pairings. So we might have to, put that one out a month ahead of time to give everybody ample time to prepare and get the proper cheese and beer. But I think that's a great. One of the local tap houses here recently had a beer and cookie pairing, which was pretty interesting too. So all about the beer and food pairings. Before we move on to Greg, we just wanted to bring up one other article that I had posted on my Twitter feeds, which I kind of have too. I'm transitioning Michigan beer guy over to Uncle Pete, and I've got my new Arizona beer guy with a whole 22 followers right now. But so I got to start from scratch out here. But there was an article that says it's okay to drink two of the same beers now, because there are so many people obsessed with the Untapped check-ins and unique beers that they've never had. It's really frustrating for brewers, because you brew a great beer and people try it and they love it and they're like, well, I've had that, I want something I haven't had. And the article is a really good read, so check it out. And if I can make a shameless plug, please follow me at Arizona Beer Guy. It's at Arizona Beer on Twitter, and I need some new followers on my new account, and Pete and I will get together. I've still been publishing industry news on Michigan Beer Guy, because I haven't fully transitioned to Pete, but as a native Michigander, Pete is most deserving of that title, so that's where we're going to go with it. So just, it's a great read, though. It just talks about how, it's a struggle for brewers to give the people what they want, and I think they talked about Evil Twin brewing like 130 different beers in a year, because everybody wants something new. And I'm sure that some of those 130 beers are very close, if not identical, very close ingredients. So good read. Just check it out. You get a chance. Anybody else get a chance to read that or have any comments? If not, then okay. Well, read it on your time. And Greg's dying of thirst, so let's go to Dearborn and have Greg introduce his selection for this episode.
Read it for first.
Okay, thanks, JR. So my selection for today is from Two Henry's Brewing Company out of Plant City, Florida. This is their roasted jalapeno blueberry porter.
Ooh.
Comes in a nice 12-ounce can here. Just a quick description on it. This is they aged this porter on roasted jalapenos, fresh blueberry puree. Flavors complement surprisingly well with light toasted flavor of the brown porter. Low hop but strong jalapeno and blueberry aromas. This is a can says 5.5%. Website says 5.5. So either way, medium body and not too spicy. So pours a dark brown color. You can see a little bit through the bottom of my glass here. Smell. I smell that blueberry puree first thing. It is just as advertised. It's very sweet, very berry, forward. I maybe get a smidge of pepper skin, but for the most part, I just get that blueberry. So, first taste. Cheers. Very light mouthfeel. get a little bit of that blueberry puree, and we've switched over to the jalapeno, and it's got a pretty good kick to it. Unlike a lot of jalapenos, beers that I've enjoyed, that they usually have lacked in the heat, but this one is definitely producing a little more heat than I've experienced in the past. But this is good. Thanks to a coworker that went down there just recently with his family and picked up a bunch of beers and brought back and shared with me here. But this is a really good offering. Now the weather's finally warming up around here. This is a nice crusher here to enjoy. So I would suspect not many have tried this from our group here, but I definitely would highly recommend it.
Well, no secret that I would love to try it because, as you all know, I love the hot pepper beers. So that jalapeno sounds like there's a little heat to it, and I'm sure I would really like it.
But that sweetness of that blueberry complements it just enough to mellow it out. So it's really nice. That's an interesting combination, though. That's I would not think that blueberries and jalapenos would go together, but sounds like it meets your approval. I'd continue to drink this, absolutely. Well, if you like it, then I'm sure I would like to try it. So, great, interesting flavor profile there.
What a combination! Yeah,
blueberry jalapeno.
I know that was a first. I never heard of that before.
It's catching up too.
I would guess that might be better than the blueberry cucumber, but I don't know. I didn't get to try it. We always keep an open mind. I actually had some cucumber beers that I liked.
Exactly. I've had some too, but you start mixing blueberry and cucumber and you're like, what?
That's pretty radical.
Well, we got some of this left over and some of that left over. Let's just put it all together and see what happens.
I think I would vote for the jalapeno. That sounds pretty good. All right. Well, thanks. We're going to move all the way from Michigan to the West Coast, to the left coast. Steve V., welcome back with us. What you got for us?
So today I have you mentioned earlier, Evil Twin Brewing. I guess they put out this, one of their many beers they put out. It's called Cranberry Sauce Boss. It's a India Pale Ale brewed with oat and lactose with vanilla and cranberry puree added. It's 7.8 ABV. It's like I said, Evil Twin, they've been around since 2009 or so, and I guess I was reading up on the website that they finally found a place. I guess they used to go and brew out like a little gypsy brewery and brewed everywhere else, and they finally got their own building, and I guess they're going to be opening up their tap room coming up in May. So if you live out on the East Coast, you can look them up.
Good for them. Yeah, that's cool.
For his turn.
So this beer pours, actually gets a pretty decent head from it. Very, very pink strawberry color, but like I said, the head's pretty thick. The initial smell, I get a lot of vanilla from it, actually. Wow, it's very good. It has the taste of the IPA, but very mild though. The cranberry is kind of very subtle in it. It's not overbearing. They kind of pair very well.
It's a pretty color. Just what I see on the video, that is a very, really vibrant red there.
Yeah, it's like I said, you wouldn't think the cranberry is not tart at all. There's no tartness to this beer. It's definitely IPA flavor. That's what you really taste, but the cranberry at the end is kind of subtle. I don't taste much vanilla in it. I think I smell it more than I taste it, but it's very good. Nice bold taste to it.
Nice.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, really, it does. I mean, I love cranberry juice, and you said it had vanilla and cranberry puree. I mean, that must be a really smooth, really nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Greg, you were mentioning earlier about your jalapeno. There was a bar out here, and the bartender used to put he used to pour beer, but then he would put in a French press peppers and lime, and would put in some just salt and stuff, and then he'd press that down and then pour the beer. And as you let it sit in that French press, it would just kind of get that pepper from it. And so as it sat, it just got stronger and stronger. And those final couple of sips, you're just drinking nothing but chili juice.
Oh my goodness,
they're pretty good.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey,
let's from the East Coast. Say that was an East Coast thing about putting beer and mixing it with stuff in a French press.
We need to have a French press episode, man. That'd be awesome.
There you go.
I don't know if you've heard of that before.
That's a great idea. I've been to shares where guys brought like toasted coconut and put it in like an imperial stout. That's a great idea for an episode. We might have to do a little bit of homework and trial and error before we just do it blind. But
yeah, he also did one with Guinness, and then he put coffee beans in it and some other like walnut little flavor to it, and then he'd press that down and then just drink the. He just added a whole different taste to the Guinness. It was different.
That's amazing. Yeah. Wow.
Oh, it's like doing a Randall, They got a Randall infuser where you could pack it with whatever you want to pack it with and then run your beer through it. But French press is just like for everybody who's got one at home. It's awesome. Not everybody's got a Randall.
Yeah, certainly not.
I mean, I've done my share of French pressing, some really nice fresh ground coffee beans and infuse that into a porter or a stout. I've done that a couple times. JR's done with your Irish car bomb stout. Didn't you French press a cold press of coffee in there?
Sure did. Yep. To took some Irish cream flavored coffee, some Irish whiskey, and some vanilla beans.
Man.
Soaked them in the jar for 3 weeks, and then French pressed it into the bottom of the keg before we racked beer on top of it, and it was absolutely delicious.
Wow. I know it.
I also wanted to mention when I was at Dogfish Head Brewing in Delaware, I purchased a little tiny, like 16-ounce Randallizer with like a little, there's like a strainer type thing at the top, so you could pour the beer in there with an ingredient and have it soak in there and then strain it out, kind of like a French press without pressing it. And that also is another, it was like a mini Randall. And that was pretty interesting. You could do anything with any ingredient. It's pretty cool. All right. Well, thanks for that Evil Twin offering. That sounded like something I'd really be interested in. So I'm going to be looking for that in a beer store next time I go to Tucson. I'm kind of in a craft beer desert down here in southern Arizona, but 70 miles to the north, we have the Cavalry, some good beer stores up there.
I'll pick you up a can and I'll save it when you come see Chris.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And I will bring some Tombstone treasures too. Looking forward to that this summer. So, all right. Well, we're going to wrap things up with one more selection. I just realized that I don't believe we had anything that had cherries in it. So that opens up a new topic for another time. Maybe we'll do a cherry beer episode dedicated to just cherries since they got this today. But I do have a nice berry mead here that I wanted to share, and I was excited because I've had a couple of bottles of these available to me to drink for a couple of weeks, and I figured this would be a great opportunity to give me an excuse to open it. So without further ado, I'm going to open up a Four Fires Meadery, Ope Berries. I don't know how to say Ope, O-P-E, exclamation mark berries. It looks kind of like a Captain Crunch Berries logo on the label with a cartoon and a big bowl of berries. And it's made with honey, black currant, blackberry, and red raspberry. Four Fires, I have in our last March Meadness, I did taste one of their. I did feature one of their meads on that episode. Can't remember exactly which one it was. Cranbanero, maybe. But I have a membership to this meadery. It's in Toledo, Ohio, actually in Maumee, Ohio. And I bought a membership like a year ago, and I probably mentioned this on the Mead episode. The 1-year membership I purchased will not start until their tap room opens. And it's been like a year that I've had the membership, and since the tap room hasn't opened, I still have a full year to come. And they're very close to opening their tap room, I believe, in May. So those of you back in Michigan, it's just a short drive down to Maumee. Maybe a good road trip for you guys. Check it out. So this one was one of their highest rated Meads. As a member, I was able to buy 2 bottles of it, was the limit. This is batch 1. I'm sure there will be more because it's received great accolades. Trying to find in their Facebook the description, but I'm just going to describe it myself because admittedly about 10 minutes ago I decided to crack it and open it. So
You're committed now.
Open it up for you guys. If you can see this, it's a very deep purple. Looks almost like a classic Cabernet or red wine, but it's certainly loaded with unbelievable fruit aromas. Blueberry, raspberry. I don't think there's blueberry in it. Blackcurrant, blackberry, red raspberry are the 3 fruits in it. But I would say probably out of all those, the blackcurrant is the most prevalent. But all the fruits are there, and it smells absolutely wonderful. So I'm going to take it to sip now. It's absolutely outstanding, delicious. Lives up to the hype. I've seen some great reviews on it. I think Untapped. Let me check the Untapped rating. I think it's over 4.5. But it's just loaded with. They must have used a ton of fruit in this. It's. Let me see the ABV if they have it listed. It's 10%. So a lot of meads are 14. 10 is plenty of alcohol. There's no burn and all in this. It's delightful to drink. Man, it's obviously sweet because it's mead is made from honey, but it's not cloying sweet. There is a little bit of tartness from the fruit that balances out that sweetness from the honey, and it's impeccable. There's no flaws in this. It's just it reminds me a little bit of Black Agnes from Schramm's, which is all black currant. This one maybe just has a little bit more tartness and a little bit more raspberry flavor to it, and blackberry. But it's absolutely, if you ever get a chance to have a bottle of this, I highly encourage. So when batch 2 comes out, I'll give you guys a heads up. Great way to end the Cherries and Berries show. And again, apologies to the Cherries. We'll bring you back as your own episode another day. Would have been nice to have a Creek or a Balaton, but Lieutenant Dan has plenty other options for us in the cherry world, so we'll make sure he's a part of that episode. And I know Holmes has done a good Balaton cherry sour in the past that might be a good one to put on there. So, but great mead here to wrap things up with, and nice blend of 3 different berries. Really, really great. I don't think there's any way I'm going to finish this whole 375 milliliter bottle, but
you can do it.
I can certainly cap it and have some tomorrow if I need to. But great job. Really looking forward to more great things from Four Fires. So if you haven't heard of them, they're fairly new to the mead scene. Look them up, and Steve, when I come out to LA as a member, I buy usually 1 or 2 of all the allotments I get from these guys, and I'll be sure to bring you something so you can experience. And you guys up in Michigan, you should have no problem getting it soon. They're also distributing now locally in Toledo and in Maumee. So like places like Joseph's will have this on tap, and you can get a crowler, maybe a 16 or 32 ounce crowler of these meads. So great beers tonight. It's that time of year where things are warming up. These are great. A lot of the ones we had were crushers. Really like Steve's IPA with the fruit in it, and it's a nice, refreshing change. From the we love our New England IPAs and our West Coast IPAs, but nice to have a little bit of fruit now and then to switch things up. So I'll just throw it out. Anybody else have any final comments before we head to Mexico City? Everybody's at a loss for words?
All good, man. I've been enjoying the beers tonight. I'm really happy with everything everybody shared.
It's good to have you back too, Pete.
Yeah, sure is. Don't be a stranger. I told Pete he's he's busier now than he ever was when he was working full time.
Yeah, it's getting that way lately. Don't worry. Don't worry. There's a big break coming.
All right. Well, we'll also look forward to your next visit back to Tucson. Glad your parents live there, and it gives you an excuse to come down. And by the time you get here, hopefully I'll have a great knowledge of the local scene, and we can hit a few hot spots. And
yeah, I think I know a guy at Tombstone.
I'm meeting some Tombstone people, so we'll see what happens there. And also, just wanted to let Steve know I'm looking forward to at some point getting over to SoCal and hanging out with you and maybe catching a Dodger game. So that'll be coming soon too. All right, everybody. Well, that wraps up episode 135. So it's time to head to Mexico. Everybody have a great week, and we'll see you next time. So as they say in old Mexico City, AMF.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
ChristopherMedia.net.
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for listening, and thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.